Hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming and having a look at this new article, part 2 of how to make an ebook. It's going to be a short video because even though there's not a lot to do, the actual code itself does require some time to explain how it helps you to format your ebook. So first of all, I need you to have your Composer HTML editor open so it's ready to import a file. Once you've done that, have your browser open to my website. And then when you scroll down, come to the new article, How to Make an Ebook Part 2. Just click it and there we will see the images and a new HTML file that you need to download. The new HTML file is called example-code-version 2. What it does, or what it has, is the code that will help you format your title and your copyright notice. Right, now we're on the article. Let's just scroll down a bit. Okay, now scroll down to the first image. It is important to have the HTML editor already downloaded and ready to use. If you've not done that, please go ahead and do that first and watch the video also on the How to Make an Ebook Part 1 article. It helps you how to download it, install it, and then ready to use. Once you've done that, come back to here and have a look at this image. Now there's a few points that I want to make out here. First of all, the code, all code, including your manuscript, will be added into the section below the body tag. It's very important, this. Anything below the body tag, okay? Your manuscript, all the CSS code, HTML code, everything goes in between the body tag, okay? Now, here I have what we call the author section, and you will see here I have a title called author. Now this is actually ignored by your e-reader or by a browser. This is really just for comments for myself. So to start that, you just add an apostrophe and it tells the browser or e-reader to ignore anything that's added. And this just tells me that it's the author section, and within this section we have the name of the book. Now in my case it's The Fairies of Birch Over Wood, but in your case it would be the name of your book, by, and then the name of the author. And then here I know it's the finished section because I've got end of author, and remember to add the apostrophe. Now in this section there are some important points. I've added a BR because it just tells me to go, it tells the browser to go down one line. Okay, now this section here, div id equals speech marks title dash page speech marks, that's very important because this is going to help you create your table of contents later on. So that table of contents in your ebook will actually be clickable. So anything that's added, some person can just scroll down to that particular title page, click on it, and then it will actually go to the section of your book. So it's very, very important. So you start off with a div, you add this, which is the P class, which is very important, and I've explained it within this article, so I really do want you to read it. And then what this does with my title of the book, it actually centers it. And then the title of the P class, it tells the ebook reader or the browser that the title is actually a slightly larger font than normal, and again it's explained within the article. Below that you will close the div tag. So when you have a look at the table of contents within the ebook reader, you will actually see The Fairies of Birch Over Wood being the title of the book, and if you click that on the table of contents, it will take you to the title page of the book. More classes here, center, title, again the same size font, very important. And when you noticed, when you've started the P class, you actually close the P class with a slash or a /P. Okay, I've just added a space so it's easy to read within the contents. Okay, and then I finish this author section with end of author. Okay, very easy. Again, I want you to read the article so it's fully explained what each section or each part of the code does for you. Very important. Let's just scroll down a bit more. Now, once you've done that and you've saved it, go to your Composer HTML editor and click on the preview. And when you do preview in your browser, it will show you what it will look like in an e-reader. And that's how it will look. The Fairies of Birch Over Wood by Ian Stuart Rutter. And on the browser, it will actually center it all evenly with a slightly larger text. Scroll down a little bit more. Now this is important. This is the copyright notice. Again, I've added the copyright, just comments. I've added the P class, center, and copyright. Now if you look at these and compare them to the CSS code that you added yesterday, they will show you what these do. And again, I've added what the explanation is and what they do. But on this particular one, copyright is actually added to the title page, and I explain why. Again, it goes on talking about when you download a sample from Amazon, they give you 10% of the story. Well, why clutter that 10% with lots and lots of copyright notices? Just get it done, because the main copyright notice can be added to the end of your ebook. Okay, a little bit different here. I have a P-class page break. This tells the ebook reader that to stop it, no more information, and then when the person turns the page over, then it's a new page. And again, I have end of copyright. Once again, it's fully explained in this article. And when you preview it, you will see copyright 2012 Ian S. Rutter, all on one digital page. Now, all this code can be found on this example code version 2 HTML. Right click, save link as, and I'm using Firefox here. Once again, I will save this onto my desktop, and as it's not on the desktop, we just go to the left, we click desktop, and I click save. Okay, everything's been downloaded. Let's close that. And I'm going to minimize the browser because I'm going to show you what it actually looks like in the browser later on. Now, we have Composer. I'm just going to minimize that to show you where the file is. Here is the file. Example code version 2. That's the original one from yesterday. We really don't need that because we're going to every day we're going to build upon the code. So if you want, you can just put that to one side or delete it. So this is the one we're dealing with now. If you haven't done, please open Composer. Once you've done that, go to File, go to Open File, and because I've saved that file on my desktop, that's what I will look for. Again, if you're somewhere else, just click on Desktop, scroll down, and again, because Composer is looking for a HTML file here, we can see it already highlighted. Click once and open. Okay, looks a little bit ugly. Let's just go to source code first. Okay, now I'm going to show you a few things here. Okay, as we can see, I have the author section. Okay, and we have the div ID title page, which corresponds to your table of contents. Now we're looking at this P class, center title. These are multiple classes. Okay, you can mix or you can add multiple classes together instead of just having one by separating them with a space. So for the center, let's just go up. And we can see what happens with the p.center. Now, this tells me that the text will not be indented. So it's 0 EM. Now the EM is for sizes, and that's what we use for CSS. It tells me that the text alignment is going to be center. So what happens is the browser or the e-reader sees that it's a center class, looks at what's required, and it sees, oh, no indent, but it needs to center it, and it does. The code is, this section here means it's open, this section means it's closed. So it's only dealing with that section of code within these two. Okay, now this center can actually be called anything you want, but because the text is going to be centered, it's only fair to call it center, but you can call it anything you want as long as you know what it does. Okay, again, chapter doesn't have to be called chapter, but it's what I understand it to be. And again, copyright and heading, but these can be anything you want them to be as long as you know what they're going to do. Okay, let's just scroll down a bit more. Title, the next one is title, again on the same line. So what do we see? Title here. The font is normal, so it's a standard font, and my advice is not really to play about with fonts with the ebook readers, especially with Kindle, because there's really, I think, a minimum of 2 fonts that it understands. Font size, slightly bigger now. 1.5, normal font size will be 1, but I've made my font size slightly bigger, so it's 1.5. Okay, that's the only thing you really need to understand. My advice is go and play with the numbers and see what size the fonts look like when you preview. So we've dealt with center and we've dealt with title. Okay, this is an interesting one. I don't have title, but I do have copyright. So what does that mean? Well, I've created a new class. In this case, it is called copyright. And instead of the font size being 1.5, I've made it smaller to 1. Okay, so slightly different size than the main title, but still. You have it centered, and you have its own separate class as copyright. What does it look like? Well, we go down to preview, click preview, and that's what it looks like. That's what it will look like in your ebook reader as well as a browser. 1.5 size font, 1 size for the copyright. Very simple, very nice, very clean. Okay, now let's have a look at what it looks like in a browser. So what do? Well, we just go to the browser, go to File, Open File this time on a browser. Because I'm looking for the desktop, it's already on the desktop. I scroll down. We have example code version 2, and because browsers deal with HTML, it's fine. We open. And that's what it looks like in a browser. Very simple, very clean, very neat. Nothing very difficult. And if you've noticed the code, let's just have a look at one more time. Go to the Source tab. You can see that the code is just simply repeated. There's nothing very difficult. Here is already been, all the hard work has already been done here. All you're doing is just adding the name of the class. And once the browser or the e-reader sees what class, it reads what it needs to do, and it does the hard work, not you. So it's just simple code which is repeated, repeated, repeated. Important thing is the page break. Okay, once you add the page break, it means that you're turning the page over, the digital page, just like turning the physical page of a book over to a new section. And so tomorrow we will add chapter headings and more parts of your manuscript. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. It's been enjoyable to make it, and I hope you've learned something from it. Thank you very much. Bye.